we wrap things up by settling all the fights for this generation: Call of Duty or Battlefield, PS4 or Xbox One. And who's the voice of this generation? Buckle up, gamers. It's I Love Last Gen.
We are at the end of the generation, and GTA 5 is everything that kind of comes together to say, you're at the end of the generation, here's what we can wring out of these boxes.
Let me tell you, running around and shooting people is awesome.
GTA 4 maybe wasn't the first game of this console generations, but it was the first major game in my opinion. GTA 5 is the end of this era.
I love the 3 protagonists. I think that's such a cool new thing that they've added.
You can switch between them, which is great for keeping the pace up.
If I want to do something really fucked up, I've got to play as Trevor.
Do you understand that?
The last time I hopped into Trevor's body, he was pooping behind a dumpster.
It's a gangbang. Let's go.
If I want to be a gentleman, I got to play as Franklin.
Man, that's a dude, chop.
If I want to be confused about things and not be sure about what I'm going to do with my life, that's when you play Michael.
I'm back into life. I mean, I gotta make some money, and there's only a couple ways I know how to do it.
Plus, it's an exact replica of Los Angeles.
You're just stunned right off the bat by driving around this virtual world that captures every little part of the city and captures it just right.
Did you try to drive to your house?
I actually have not played it yet.
Oh! You're not a real gamer!
If there's anyone who lives in Los Angeles and there's a lot of traffic all the time and it makes you really angry, just play GTA 5, YOLO down the street and just hit people and just go crazy.
With Grand Theft Auto 5, it kind of feels like Rockstar took everything they learned from Red Dead Redemption and the previous Grand Theft Autos and smushed it together in this incredible, gorgeous open world package.
We finally got the stock market simulator we wanted. Check the bull and bear market or kill someone, it's up to you.
Cheers! Cheers!
I feel like I need to have a serious voice when I talk about Call of Duty versus Battlefield.
Isn't that always the raging fanboy question?
There will be nothing anyone can do to stop it.
This fight that doesn't need to exist.
There are very important things to be talked about here, and we must have a decision.
I just want to get to the bottom of this, and I want to do it cleanly.
There's no need for animosity between the two. You can easily play them both, and a lot of people do.
In terms of hours played and games that have memorable moments for me, it is Call of Duty.
I'm kind of a Call of Duty girl. That sounded bad.
I couldn't stop it.
Good hit, good kill.
Bruce likes Battlefield.
Well, why do I like Battlefield, Joel?
Because it looks prettier, and the combat's more combat-y.
Let's smoke this bastard.
I would say for my money on console, the Call of Duty continues to be a better fit.
Battlefield, there are so many different levels of play on that game. If you die as an infantry, you're going straight to the tank. And then if you die in the tank, you're going straight to the helicopter. And if you die in the helicopter, you're going straight to that jet. And then if you die in the jet, you uninstall the game because you're bad at it.
I have put more hours into the Call of Duty franchise. It delivers to me the qualities of a competitive shooter that I like better than Battlefield.
It's caused a rift in my family. My brother has been very Call of Duty, and my dad still plays Battlefield 3 every night.
I don't feel strongly one way or the other, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really different games.
From this point on, today never happened.
Everyone knows that when your kid's growing up, you like to play with toys. Who doesn't like to play with toys? You're never going to completely replace toys.
What is up with those toys?
Toys are cool, and whosever idea it was, hopefully they got enough credit for saying, I'm going to take this toy and I'm going to bring this toy into the game world.
I was really shocked by how kids really gravitated to this and the collections of them and how there's so many different kinds of toys and what Skylanders is doing with the Spyro universe.
What did they do to Spyro? You guys remember Insomniac Spyro? When he would save the little baby dragons and then they would burp bubbles? Do you guys remember when Spyro was pure?
Skylanders was the most deviously engineered video game toy kid crack that I've ever seen in my life.
The game itself is good. It's not just a kitschy niche thing that they popped out there and it worked.
If I was 9.5 years old, Skylanders would be my new religion. Unfortunately, I'm 32 and a half years old, and I buy Magic cards.
I'm slightly ashamed that, you know, as a man in his 30s, that I'm as obsessed as I am with having all of these figures.
You should see my Skylanders collection. I have like 50. I'm so not even joking.
I'm an adult male, and I stopped buying toys a long time ago.
Infinity and Skylanders are so successful is because it's not about bridging the gap, it's about creating a connection between the two. I'm gonna play video games, but I still want my toys. Toys are always fun.
That and they all stand up. There's something to be said. Every time you get figures and you try to like position their feet and they keep like falling over, the Infinity figures, you just like chess pieces, they just automatically stand up, and that's very, very convenient.
Commander.
You're not supposed to call me that anymore, James.
Voice actors are rock stars. You go to conventions and there's lines of people meeting the voice actors.
Like when I first started, it was just grunts and groans or the name of flags or, you know, call outs.
My favorite voice actor in video games is Jennifer Hale, and she's my favorite voice actor on The Citadel.
Sounds important.
Jennifer Hale, FemShep, is my favorite. She's my girl.
Jennifer Hale's in the Guinness Book of Records for having like the most voices ever.
I read her profile piece in The New Yorker because I'm one of those guys who reads The New Yorker. Deal with it.
This generation has allowed, like I said, the acting to sit back into a more film and TV place.
I think one of the most interesting things about the way cinematics improved over this generation comes from a real recognition that what's happening inside the game isn't reading lines and it's not reading dialogue, it's voice acting.
Come here. I need to get you someplace safe. Take my hand.
Movies and games are going like this, and they're gonna merge, and I think in about 10, 15 years, game stars are going to be as popular as film stars are now.
As far as an icon goes, you can't think about voice actor icons in video games without talking about Nolan North.
You devil.
Nolan North's everywhere.
What's that supposed to mean?
Coming into Uncharted 2, I didn't know Nolan North, but I'm like, this guy is killing it the whole time. I'm laughing at his jokes. I'm like into his delivery when he's just being like, when he's kind of serious too. You're like, oh, I believe this guy.
I don't think so.
Troy Baker, who've this year have been Booker and the lead voice in Last of Us.
Oh, we are survivors.
This is our chance.
It is over, Tess.
When it's not a real actor, it's so glaring now. It's so obviously glaring that this is not someone who's been trained in how to create a dramatic performance around a character. And that's a real evolution of the game.
The possibility to change people's thinking and their being is something that's something that films have been playing around with for a long time, but games are moving that way too, and I like that.
You're not responsible for the ones that die. We fight for the ones left standing when it's all over.
When people say games are becoming more like entertainment, it means taking those other things in games more seriously, like the voice actors.
Yeah, well, it'll make it look more believable.
PS4 versus Xbox One. Who will win, right?
Stop, it's PS4. I mean, what?
I think it's still gonna be Xbox One.
My money's on Sony.
What are people really excited about for the PS4, really?
Everything that happened over this year has been crazy. Just insane how far the Xbox brand has dropped.
I think that the worst thing that Microsoft did was their marketing, not the product. And I think the best thing that PS4 did was their marketing, not the product.
You know, I was on board for the Xbox One. I really wanted them to monitor everything I did and lock down all my games.
Yeah, but they said they weren't gonna do that anymore.
Yeah, and then they took it all back, and I'm not cool.
Bummer.
Yeah, I'm not cool with that.
Recording your gameplay sessions on the PS4 and uploading garbage to the internet and polluting YouTube, that's awesome.
Why can't we all get along?
Right now, for me, the games are stronger on the PlayStation 4. They're going after some really interesting, creative, innovative indie titles.
Most of the games are going to come out on both, and ultimately, I think I'm an Xbox girl. Sorry.
Makes me wonder about things.
Where things are a year from now, everything could totally fall off again, and we've seen that the tides can easily turn.
Engage 2.
And that's why I would want both, but I'm poor and I can only afford one.
And as we've been promising, it's all about
delivering breakthrough gaming experiences.
one thing I hope we learn from this gen is that we are all totally different, and we're all so connected now, which is great. You know, a lot of people can, you know, thumbs down Twitter and thumbs down Facebook and say like, oh, I don't need that stuff to be social, but like, you really get a lot out of investing in a community of gamers.
Gimmicks can't always work, and I feel like a lot of times we've learned that graphics, although very important, aren't as fun as fun gameplay. That is what people are really looking for, is a fun game. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
I think companies need to know not to piss off their fan base, be it horse armor, content locked on the disc, not being able to play used games.
Something that's been added to this whole generation is the importance of social, of this sort of like, it's not peer pressure, but it's like peer assurance. It's, oh, my friend's playing that game, I feel better about playing this game.
What we learned this past generation, more than anything, is that you should really start working on a JRPG early, because they will not finish it anytime soon.
How much feedback matters and how important it is to foster a community. And that's everything from conventions, fostering safe communities for fans to go to the rise of a community manager in the industry. Every major game has a community manager and a forum and an official Twitter account and a Facebook page where fans are able to give actual feedback. Now, it's not always the nicest feedback.
We learned a few lessons. I think one would be to not store your credit card information in your console.
If you put something out there and it's quality and it's interesting and it's new and different and customizable, then people will want that.
Indie games matter. And that's, you know, like, you can't just rely on huge, big blockbuster games to sell your platforms. You've got to have a steady stream of content, and you've got to have great games. And, you know, you look at what Microsoft did this generation with Castle Crashers and Braid and Limbo, and getting those games that were unlike anything else that were coming out on platforms on their system first, and that was really important. Now Sony's doing that.
You can never have enough DLC, and you can never roll it out too early. Launch day, day before launch,
do it all.
Why don't you just give me something to download with no game to attach it to?
I like that.
Yeah.
You should try that.
Maybe we'll see that next generation.
This generation changed the way we look at and even play video games. What once was a hobby became a way to connect people. We laughed, we cried, and sometimes we even won. There's no better way to say it. I love Last Gen.